Hi, everybody. Exciting to be here. Thank you all for coming to listen to us, having an interesting chat. We have with me Alfredo Bermejo, Director of Digital Strategy at La Liga, and Bastian Lashny, VP Media Distribution of Europe and Middle East for the NBA. And I'm Aviv. I'll try to moderate this and make it interesting. I'm the co-founder and chief business of WSC Sports. I'll use my notes a bit to get the nervousness out of the way. So for those of you that don't know us at WSC Sports, we've been working for 12 years to automate the creation of sports highlights, working with everybody in sports media, using AI and machine learning. And we have a great couple of topics for you today. We'll talk first about a developing innovation that's been going on in the last couple of years, I'd say, and catching really widely a lot of vertical content that we see up there and stories. And we have both La Liga and the NBA that has been pioneers taking this format, this category, investing it heavily, engaging fans in a unique way. And not only creating this content for social, but also bringing it into the on and operated environment and creating a whole new experience. So we'll just chat about that. I want to start just to give you the context of what we're talking about with a really short video that shows this experience. So, cool. So we'll talk about stories and vertical content. And with a little branding at the end there. So, Bastian, let's start with you with the NBA. So a year ago, we had this event in London. We had Andrew coming over to London to talk about the new app launch, about this, it was a preseason, the season was about to start, and we're talking about the investment and the heavy lean that the NBA has into this type of new format. And now, a year later, it seems like NBA is doubling down on that. It creates like a really interactive, all the app is full with this experience, interactive content. So what can you tell us about, in general, the content strategy of the NBA and vertical specifically? What were the NBA's goals in leaning towards this format? And what are the KPIs that you were aiming for, and how did it go a year in?
Thank you, Aviv, and hello, everybody. First, I want to apologize because a year ago you had a much better speaker from the NBA. Well, I tried to do a decent job. Vertical content is very important in our strategy, both on our managed social accounts and on the owned and operated, so on the NBA app. We've obviously learned from almost a decade of doing, thanks to our great social and content team, pretty decent job on social, attracting up to 84 million followers and counting, I think, just on Instagram. That vertical short-form storytelling was obviously a very efficient way to engage our fans. So obviously when we built our own NBA app or rebuilt it last season, what's a better way to engage fans than to offer them the same formats that the one they use on their favorite social app. So that's what the thinking. And using the strategy of this, using this format that our fans are used to, the idea for us is really to capture a fraction of this huge audience from social. We won't capture all of it, we know it. But if we can get a fraction of them to go and use on a daily basis the app, that is really an all-in-one destination for basketball fan, then that means we'll be able to offer them a much more personalized experience and down the line monetize it. So that was very important for us, and that's still central in our strategy. And then in terms of the KPIs, what we measure, like everybody out there, engagement time, video views, weekly active users is one that we're looking at also regularly. What I will say is that we had tremendous results. The one I can share, we're pretty secret about the numbers, but we've tripled engagements just in 1 year with a new version of the app, and we've increased in-app video consumption by 700%. And it doesn't mean that we've tripled the amount of the volume of content that we have out there in the app. It just means that we're doing a much better job at helping the fan to discover the content. So the discoverability of the app is much better. And that's a lot due to the use of vertical content within the app.
Oh shit, 700%. I asked Bastien to come up with some of the updated numbers, and I didn't know that this would
just made that up.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Cool. Alfredo, you just this off season launched your new app and decided to lean heavily towards this format. What made you go through to that route and make this decision?
Thanks, Aviv, and hello, everybody. Well, our rationale was quite similar to what Bastien explained. We wanted to bring a brand new experience to our fans into our main product, which is our official app. We wanted to bring what they can find outside our own operated platforms to the experience that we want to offer. We basically had an app that was focused on results, calendar, and sessions were in a high, decent number in terms of how many sessions users made, but time spent was reduced. We couldn't offer a full 360 experience for the fans in terms of being informed and being entertaining within our product. And that's why we decided to make that movement. We invested a lot for the last years in order to know better our fans and what they like and what they want to consume. I wanted to have a product that helped us to serve them in the proper way, the content that they wanted in the formats that they wanted. And that's why we made that move. Our main KPI was, such as Bastien said, time spent in the platform, how we made video consumption a better experience. And in terms of figures, what I can share is we increased the number of sessions that the fans are having within our platform. Sessions per user increased over 70%, and time spent increased over 40%. And it's basically 4 months since we launched this experience. In terms of video consumption, numbers are skyrocketing, and we are pretty happy, and we are looking forward to keep going deeper on that strategy.
So far you're happy.
Really happy.
Yeah, but it's only a few months in, so I mean, you got already fan reactions already. You see the engagement levels, but there's been I don't know, what was the sentiment right as you launched? Was that
was pretty good. I mean, one way to measure it is the valuation of the apps within the stores, and it went up. Mm-hmm. And the consumption that we've seen within teams is quite spread. I mean, we have in La Liga, and every competition has these 2, 3, 4 big teams that they drive a big amount of consumption, but what we've seen from other teams, as we have experienced stories for each match and reels for certain players, specific players, what we've seen in terms of consumption is really exciting to us, because we are seeing different teams apart from Real Madrid or Barcelona that their content is being consumed and is being showcased to our fans.
Cool. Bastien, I want to talk to you a bit about the audience and the demographics that this is aimed for, because if we talk a few years ago, we didn't expect, I wouldn't expect that I would be watching sports in vertical, and basically by opting into the way that fans are engaging on TikTok, on Snap. Like you need to create that content in a. You need scale, but you also need. I mean, it's targeting a particular demographic that necessarily maybe is watching in a different way. So my question is, have you tailored it to specific international markets or younger audiences, or what was the goal in that sense? Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of things, but again, when you look at the numbers we achieve on social, ignoring that trend in the consumption would have not been very smart. I personally didn't really like consuming vertical content for sports initially. Like in basketball, I thought that you could not see the entire action, the players that were in the corner. I didn't like that. But I have to say that we've done a great job at making it a very good format. The demographic are not really different in terms of who's using the app, but the vertical content is the first thing that you see when you open the app. And it's a discoverability tool. We're using it to promote other parts of the app. And an interesting format, to give you an example. And again, I was really not sold initially, but you know, historically you have your 2-3 minutes highlights after a game that you will watch. If you watch it on the phone, you're going to watch it like that. Now we, for each game, we are publishing stories. So we split each game, each 2-3 minutes highlight into 15 to 18 chunks that are each a story. And you just look at the entire highlight just like that, as if you were watching a story on Instagram. And that's actually, you know, a very comfortable content and format. And it became, after just 1 year, by far the most consumed video format in the app.
Awesome. A little plug there, like you were talking about. When it's cropped, you're missing some of the footage on the court. We have developed with you this patented technology called Magic Crop that's basically tracking the most interesting part of the video in order to create a story automatically, but not miss the action, because you need to track where on screen you should crop it. So to make sure you don't miss the action. So Alfredo, basically same question. You're really targeting a global audience, and are you also planning or already localizing or personalizing the content based on who the fan is or the demographic or anything like that?
That's what we tried. I mean, we incorporated the registration within the app in order to be able to personalize even more what we offer to the fans, because our goal is with this new technology, we are allowed to create what we call the kind of an infinite storytelling, where we can divide content per skills, per action in the game, per nationality. So we can offer to certain territories like a compilation of goals or skills actions from certain players. So I think it's really important the way it's gonna help us to tackle territories, but also audiences. Like all these young demographics that are used to consume vertical video. If Bastian mentioned that it's weird to watch basketball within vertical football, I mean, it's the pitch is even
more
broader. So it was weird to us, but what we're seeing is that it's something that is working. That depends on how you create that narrative. It's even helping on certain amount of content, pre-game, post-game. Evergreen content like archive is working pretty well because we can create a full experience around the match, not just during the match day or the 90 minutes that it takes place, for the whole week, or even to showcase specific players or specific territories.
Yeah, I meant to ask you. You are using the archive as well in this format, right? You're using like for pre-game and all that.
Yeah. We are using that. We are using, I think, from the last 3 seasons, and the idea is to move behind on time, and it's working pretty well. I mean, it's a way that we are seeing to show other players, other teams that it's been history of La Liga, that probably young audiences that they didn't know about them. For example, I know Joaquin that retired last year, he became kind of a social phenomenon in the last seasons, but he's been playing for 22 years. So we can create content around him and create a narrative around a player that maybe is not so well known for the young audiences.
Cool. So that's question on this topic, I think, for both of you. Like, how big was the challenge of actually implementing this and making this an optimal experience for the fans? I know we've been working on it together, but how hard was it on your end? And how important is the content itself and the automation ability to do that in order to continuously create content into that? Who wants to take it?
Well, I'm not going to repeat the old saying, content is king, blah, blah, blah. What I'm going to say is it's crucial to serve the right piece of content to each fan, and the right piece of content for Aviv, for Alfredo, for Bastien might be different. We're a global league now. We have a third of our players that are born outside of the US. The last MVP of the season was from Cameroon, the last MVP of the finals from Serbia, and the last #1 draft pick was French. So it used to be that the main highlight of the night was the main highlight for everybody. And it used to be that it was fine to have one guy or one lady cutting an highlight for a game in 30 to 60 minutes. It's just not applicable anymore if we want to serve all that audience and reach the long tail. So we were doing one highlight in every 30, 60 minutes. Now, thanks to your great technology, Aviv, we are able to generate thousands of highlights in a matter of minutes. So it was obviously a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. The way to work on scale without an automation tool is impossible. I mean, we've been working on creating content and narrowing the funnel to specific players or specific territories in social for a long time, and it can be done in a huge scale manually. So working with a tool like WC, I mean, it helps us to achieve our goals. I mean, and reduce all those challenges related to a tactic or a project that is so based on the scale.
Awesome. We passed halfway through, so we'll touch the next topic, which is a really interesting one. Everybody's been talking about it in the last few sessions that were here. So generative AI. I want to start with a couple of slides to explain what basically this means, right? So what is generative AI, and show you how we think our world is going to reshape because of this new technology. So basically, generative AI is a technology, is a method that basically enables to teach the machine to create content by context. Basically, what WSC has been doing for over a decade, like creating content contextually with machine learning and AI, but it was before the new technologies and Gen AI became so trendy. But now there's new capabilities and new possibilities of what can be done with these technologies. We all know large language models, speech, textual generative content. So basically understanding natural language and being able to answer with the text creation, basically like a person chatting to you. We've seen image creation based also on context and on description with free language. And it doesn't end there. There's also, you can create audio, music, songs. We can automatically create, using AI, a full new song. We have like examples of a new Nirvana song that AI created and so on. And last but not least, creating a video out of description or text. Still early days for that, but it's coming. So the newest trend is basically taking all these different components and packaging them up into a multi-model that can create much more creative and much more sophisticated results. So basically, to do all that, you need a lot of data, a lot of information, and train the models to be able to actually understand what it is that should be created. And I'm proud also to say WSC is really uniquely positioned in this, working with all of our partners in sports to create new capabilities in generative AI based on all the data and knowledge and the information and specific expertise in AI that we've created over the last decade. I want to show you now a really quick video of how we think the future looks in generative AI, and we'll have a chat about that. So the last one there was Daniel, my co-founder. He's the CEO of WSC Sports, and he's a big Utah fan. So the Algo team used him to put him as Jordan to beat Utah. Basically, we took this demonstration that Adam Silver had on the last NBA Tech Summit and showed an example of that. But some of these things are very rights prohibitive, very futuristic. Some of these things are coming very soon, and we'll talk about what we think the near future shows. So I wanted to ask both of you guys, how is both NBA and La Liga looking at Gen AI as a new space, new category, new everybody needs to react and figure out how this applies to you. So are you investing resources in exploring the space and seeing what you need to do?
I mean, La Liga, we've been investing in AI for the last 4 years in terms of, for example, piracy. We have our own developments such as Marauder or Black Hole that help us to protect our content, or what we've been doing with the Media Coach in order to improve players' performances, and also using those data to enrich what we have on screen. In terms of content and Gen AI, for example, we are working with programs such as DALI for when we work with sponsors and we have to create different images of a group of players and not repeat the players that we use and so on, and we create those images specifically for sponsors. We use this kind of technology. So, I mean, we've been investing. We have pretty cool things coming soon that we are working on. I cannot share a lot more because at 4 p.m. Our president is having a session and he's gonna go deep on that topic. So I'm not allowed to.
So everybody, 4 p.m. The president of La Liga here is going to show some stuff.
And he will be sharing some of the stuff that we are working on.
Cool. Bastian?
I mean, we're obviously looking into the great possibilities that this new technology is offering. I mean, if you ask me personally, it's a bit scary as well. But we're looking into what we could apply. And a couple of examples of not as futuristic thing that we've done are simply an Ask NBA bot, for instance, that we've experimented during the last NBA final. Just to give the ability in multiple language. Again, that there's this localization aspect that is very interesting to us. To have the fan asking, from the most basic question, or like who is LeBron James, to the most complicated or geeky one, like how many points did he score against the Miami Heat during his whole career. And another one that we've tried recently, we're actually trying it last week in London, was a voice AI-generated, commentary in different language. So in that case, it was an original programming that we've produced about the Denver Nuggets, the latest NBA champion, translated automatically via AI in French. I have to say, I don't think it's ready to be fan-facing just yet. Grammatically, it's correct, but sports is also about emotional engagement, and so it's hard for now, I think, for the AI to do a good job. Maybe you're going to prove me wrong with the next video, but the one we've been using, I think it's not there, but it's getting there, and it's going to be interesting. And also, from what you were showing, I think there's also an important topic, which is IP. In terms of everything that is generated out there, we see a lot of things on digital that is going in all directions. But at the end of the day, for the NBA, and I'm sure for La Liga, it's the same. Our IP is probably our biggest assets and our most precious assets. So we need to be careful about what's produced using our IP without our authorization.
Definitely. So that's exactly the next topic I wanted to touch. IP, basically, as I said, data is really critical in order to be able to make all these things. So first, it's your IP of using that, but also watching out for what derogatory or infringement or whatever content could be created. We've seen the Hollywood writers strike recently, like that. For example, everybody in Hollywood was afraid that this technology will take their job. I think in sports media, this could mean something for the next rights cycles, even like in terms of what is allowed and be included maybe in these discussions. Do you think that's something that's coming?
I mean, I totally agree with Bastian that the most important stuff for us in this area is how we protect our IPs. That's where we live basically from. In terms of what you mentioned of jobs cutting, I mean, the way we see Gen AI is it's a tool that will help us to improve what we offer and the value that we offer to fans. We think it's not that there will be jobs cutting. It's like we could focus more on creativity and remove some tasks that will be automated or will be created differently. But in terms of how it will affect the next cycle, I mean, it's hard to say.
Remains to be seen. You don't know what's possible yet. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about that?
I mean, I think that every industry might be massively impacted, and jobs will be disrupted. I believe that too. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a great tool. It offers a lot of creative opportunities, but it's certainly going to disrupt a lot of the industry in terms of it being a topic of discussion in media rights discussion or renewal. It's not yet. And we had a lot of those discussions this summer to be ready for the start of season tonight. But in the next cycle, it's likely that we will have some of discussion. Every cycle, there's a new technology. Sometime that is here to stay. Sometime that is only fading very quickly.
I don't think this one's fading.
No, I don't think neither. Yeah.
Something that's coming.
We're out of time. Sorry, we're out of time.